Kind of a dominant performance from Oklahoma City, really, in the second half. They pulled away in a meaningful way against the Los Angeles Lakers to take game number one. It is a brand new edition of the Association. It's a post-game show, and it is presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Mike Am, Q-Rich, Chris Haynes with you. There's a lot to unpack, by the way. As soon as some of the players and coaches hit the podium, we'll bring you those press conferences here on NBA TV. Most impressive thing, because you told me, hey, this is inevitable. OKC's going to handle business in this game. The thing that stood out to you was what?
Chet. I felt like Chet being the to me he led the way for the Thunder. I completely expected that to be SGA doing that, but I mean Chet coming out and pretty much leading the way, that was a surprise to me.
24 and 12, Chris, will do that to you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the thing with OKC, they have numerous guys on that roster who can fill it up on any given day. So we all knew this was going to be an uphill battle for the Los Angeles Lakers, so I'm not surprised, to say the least.
Yeah, A.J. Mitchell, by the way, goes for 18 points in this one.
He was hooping
as well. He really was. One of the things that sort of stood out to me, and I think there's a theme here, 7 turnovers for SGA. We saw it. We talked about this in the first matchup where James Harden also struggled at times with 7 turnovers. When you're like the focal point, Q-Rich, of an offense, and we saw this, like Marcus Smart kind of getting into his face a little bit, tugging at him as well. How difficult can that be in the playoffs?
It can be difficult, but I mean, when you got a guy like SGA, I mean, a few of those mistakes that he made, they was on him, and you could see him after the play like, that was my bad. I was, you know what I'm saying, and it really had nothing to do with real pressure. It was just bad decisions here and there. But I don't worry about that with SGA. I feel like he's gonna correct those mistakes and be right back the next game, capitalizing off all of it.
No doubt.
Yeah, one of the things, and we'll show you how it all played out, I think one of those major storylines and themes is how are the Lakers going to respond? There were some tough moments for Los Angeles in the second half, but they were hanging tough here.
You being con.
Trying to keep it even here. LeBron sort of flashing back at different times late in the regular season and in the playoffs to vintage King. That's one of those moments. He had one for LeBron.
Yeah, he had a nice, efficient night, inside and outside. He had the whole offensive game going.
Spotting up and knocking down the triple. 12 points in the first quarter. Lakers up by 7, Q-Rich.
Yeah, it looked like they had a chance, but I knew what was going to happen.
You kept saying it. Jets. 12-4 run to take a 1-point lead. That's that run that Q was waiting for. SGA, that's a tough bucket.
Played it perfectly. Kept his hands up. He still had to go to foul as well.
18
tough defenders out there
for SGA. Kane got it. Thunder up by 10. Bench fired up. You can understand why. Still in the second quarter, 8-point game. Andre Ayton.
It's Q's guy right there.
Dominating.
Yes.
How about some defense here? Holmgren coming up with the block on Ayton. OKC on the move.
Hey.
A big to big. Yeah, transition, Q.
Yeah.
Not used to seeing that pulled off.
Thunder pushing that lead to 9. Bad stats.
Excuse me.
The dunk. Later, how about that flush? Take that. He's there. Lakers down by 7. Rui in the corner. Los Angeles 12-4 run, cut the lead to just 4. So hanging tough here in this third quarter.
Here we go.
Here we go is Ryan. Casey Wallace, who I know you're impressed with that defense, with a little tip. Jim Williams fronts Wallace for the finish. Thunder up by 11.
There's a grown man down there.
Grown man, dog.
LeBron finishing this game, trying to go on a high note. LeBron went for 27. Not going to be enough, though, against Oklahoma City. The run was really significant, guys. You talked about the midway through the third quarter. It's a 4-point game. It was 69-65. You were loving up Caruso, by the way, and what he brings up defensively.
Intensity.
A 25-10 run from the third into the fourth. That's how the Thunder able to pull away in this game. That run, by the way, made it a 19-point advantage. as Oklahoma City takes game number 1. Told you about Chet Q telling us, like, hey, he's the difference in this game. A double-double for him, 18 from SGA and AJ Mitchell, 12 points from Kane coming off the bench for the Thunder. The wave of players just continuing to be a force for OKC. Meanwhile, LeBron leading the way for Los Angeles, 27 points for him in this one, 6 assists as well. Austin Reeves struggled, just 3 of 16 from the floor. Here's SGA when it was done.
Shai, we see how hype you always get for your teammates. What about their performances did you like most tonight?
Yeah, they stuck with it. We're a little choppy, a little rusty tonight offensively, but we just stuck with it, made plays.
Creep and crawl their way back into this series down 1-0.
I'm glad you asked that question. My prayer, yeah, it's going to take that. It's going to take a lot of that. But check this out. If I told you before the game that the Lakers will hold OKC to 108 points, the Lakers will hold SGA to 18 points.
Sub 20, yep.
Would you still believe that OKC would still win by 18 points?
I actually would.
You would?
Based on what's happened during the regular season, 4 games up, 4 games down by an average of 29 plus points in OKC's favor.
Yeah.
The spread, I'm not even a spread person, but the spread was so crazy coming into this series. That's the reason why. So, everybody acknowledges it.
Yeah.
No Luka, like, that's a big deal.
So I bring all that up to say that if they couldn't beat them with FGA having 18 points and 7 turnovers and 108 points, I don't see it happening, Q. It's going to take miracles.
You also can't get, we know Luka's not out there, you can't get 3 of 16 and 8 points from Austin Reeves. Like, that's also a major factor in this game. So while Q's going to tell you got to pray, Chris, I don't know what the game plan is going to be for Los Angeles. Luckily enough for you, you don't have to come up with it. JJ Redick does, and he's answering some questions right now.
Damn, J. Red.
JJ, I'm sure you have to go back and watch, but where do you think the turning point or kind of key difference was tonight?
I don't think there was a turning point. I think it was a general theme throughout the night. When we made game plan mistakes, they hurt us. I thought the Houston Game 5 was the most game plan mistakes we made in a playoff game so far. We obviously lost that game. You're playing the world champs. Your margin for error in terms of mistakes is not that high. You can make mistakes. Basketball's a game full of mistakes. There's just too many tonight. We got to clean that up. But there were some good things. We won expected score. Held Shai under 20. He ended up with 7 turnovers. Guys played hard. We just got to do a better job with execution. It comes down to just the attention to detail on that, and I know we'll clean things up and be better.
Did you find the execution errors to be primarily offensive or primarily defensive?
Primarily defensive. There were some things we did offensively that weren't necessarily what we had talked about, and sometimes ran a set and didn't do what we're supposed to do. But I mean that always is going to happen. I think the game plan defensively, when whether it was a coverage thing or Shai coverage, it just seemed like every time we didn't execute, they hurt us. And then the other point of that was when they did get an offensive rebound, they absolutely killed us. We didn't do a good job of building back out on the offensive rebound.
There was a report that Jay Vanderbilt suffered a full dislocation of his finger. How is he doing?
I just talked to him. He's in as good a spirits as you can be in this situation. Obviously frustrated with what happened.
In that moment, just like, I don't know, can you just sort of describe the amount of pain he seemed to be in? I mean, from where we were sitting, it looked like.
Yeah, it looked. I went to go check on him because it just looked bad. I mean, he was audibly screaming, and knew he had done something. So we're obviously disappointed that happened, and it's a freak injury.
JJ, can you talk about sort of like the job that the guys did on Shai, and then obviously like you said, held them under 20, and they still outplayed you guys or outscored you guys by that much. Is that just sort of a testament to their incredible depth?
Oh no, I mean, look, I think when we did our Shai execution, we did a good job. The rotations out of that weren't always great. They got good players. They shot 16 for 28 on non-paint twos. Again, we did some good things. I'm not that 108-90 doesn't matter to me. We lost a game.
AR obviously didn't have his typical kind of a night. Is this just refining his rhythm after being out for a month, or what kind of do you make of that?
Yeah, he didn't play well, but he's going to bounce back. He's a great player.
You guys held them to 108. I mean, I'd say that probably would be well below their season average, their postseason average. Where do you think you can generate more offense in this series?
We got to make shots. I mean, we got to make shots. 10 for 30 from 3. Austin goes 3 for 16. Thought Luke's passed some really good looks down early. Then don't turn the ball over. We had 10 turnovers in the second half. I mean, that's the other part.
There's that third quarter stretch, and I think Austin gets an open 3 in the wing, misses what it could have to 3, and then they go down and kind of get the 6-point swing and then a steal. Is it with just how potent OKC is, or those margins? How difficult to contain are those bursts?
Yeah, we hung around all night. I think we did a good job managing their runs. The game never felt out of reach to the very end. So we managed their runs.
JJ, what did you think about kind of the shot quality that you guys were able to generate?
Again, we won expected score, so it was good enough to win.
And then you mentioned Luke kind of passing out some shots. I know you're constantly kind of trying to encourage him to take some of those open shots. Like, what do you kind of tell him now in the postseason to try to get him to take some of those that you...
Same message that he's heard from me every single day. Thanks, Coach. All right, thank you.
Mark, what did you guys find on both sides of the ball as this game moved along, just from in the second half especially?
I thought we settled in defensively. We had some, kind of game plan type breakdowns early. I thought we tightened that up and got a feel for how they were trying to attack us in the second half, which was helpful. And then offensively, I didn't think it was our best night. I thought our shot making kind of bailed us out. We shot a high percentage, but it wasn't our cleanest floor game. They junked the game up. Credit them. Like, they threw some curveballs, and it just seemed to throw us off kilter. Nothing we haven't seen, but they were moving it pretty quickly in terms of scheme to scheme. So we just have to calibrate that quicker, attack it cleaner. But series doesn't end at game one. You got to get better game over game, and that's our challenge. That's their challenge.
Mark, you mentioned the curveballs they threw. It's not like Shai hasn't seen coverages like that, but maybe he hasn't seen the coverage quite like that in this postseason. What'd you make of the way he processed that in real time throughout the game?
I thought collectively, like I just said, we could have been better. It obviously wasn't clean. I thought it was a little clunky. That could have been how quickly they changed the scheme. I thought we were like a little fast to begin the game anyways. That might have just been the layoff. We just haven't played a game in 8 days. So that's some of it. But I told the team, and I feel this way, like, you can't be greedy with a playoff win, and that was not a perfect game. There's a lot of playoff games that are not perfect. The other team's trying their best to squeeze you and make you very uncomfortable. And so we won an imperfect game tonight, and that's a good thing.
And it felt like among the things that were consistent, like Chet was just always available. It felt like as a play finisher. I know since he got here, you guys have been calling him a lob threat, but it feels like this year especially he's really become that. What's sort of going into making him that?
Some of it is him learning, spacing opportunities to find those plays. Some of it is us learning him and positions to put him in. And some of it is his teammates finding him. And the combination of those things evolving has allowed us to find him around the rim. And those are valuable plays, especially on a night, like I said, that offensively it didn't feel like we really strung together clean possessions a lot of the night. When you just get him down there and you get a layup or he gets an offensive rebound to extend a possession, those are huge plays for you. And I thought that was a huge part of the game.
Yeah, Mark, follow up to Joel's first question, but with the guys making the decisions out of those Shai traps, seemed like it was quicker, more decisive in the second half. What'd you see from that aspect?
Yeah, it was not clean in the first half. They went to it later, and it threw us off a little bit. And so, we talked about it at halftime. The guys did a good job of adjusting to the way that the game was being played, and we got better attacks. And so it's nothing we haven't seen, but we had to pivot to it quickly. And I think the combination of, a little bit of our rust and a little, them doing a good job of keeping us off balance led to that. And that becomes one of the items that we have to address and improve as we go through the next couple days, 48 hours.
Mark, Reeves obviously is going to be a focal point for you guys defensively. Why do you think you were as successful disrupting him tonight?
They're probably going to come up here and say the same thing I'm saying. I don't think they felt like they played the cleanest game either. Both teams have margin for improvement, and I anticipate that they'll improve with the series because they're a good team and they're well coached and they've got veteran guys. So, but I think we did a good job of just executing the plan on him. With him, you just can't give him a lot of cracks, and if you give him easy stuff, he's able to really burn you. And I thought we did a nice job tonight of keeping him at bay, not fouling him too much, and being in good position on him and just making him earn everything. And that's our drumbeat on every really good player is we just want them to have to earn everything they get. Sometimes they do.